Hello, and welcome to In the DeNovo. I'm Will Grace, founder and managing director here at DeNovo Treasury, where we empower leaders of community financial institutions entering commercial and industrial banking with expertise for their strategic investment in treasury management products and services. We prioritize the how over the what. We believe in a collaborative journey and go beyond traditional services by actively transferring treasury management expertise to our clients. Thank you for joining us and staying in the know within the DeNovo. So let's maybe we shift a little bit to maybe we kind of talk about instant payments and faster payments kind of as a whole then. And the Fed introduced FedNow last year. What are your thoughts on its impact on instant and faster payments overall thus far?
Well, I think that FedNow. First of all, let's talk about FedNow's impact on RTP. I would say has generally been very beneficial. The first non-RTP owners that joined the RTP network joined after the Fed announced August 2019, I believe it was, that FedNow was going to be launched. I don't think it was even called FedNow, that they were going to launch a new system. And all of a sudden, a number of community banks and other non-owner banks started signing up. Interestingly, when the Fed went live in June of 2023, all of a sudden the pace picked up for folks joining RTP as well. And I think right now, depending on which week it is, it looks like they've now reached, in terms of number of financial institutions, they've largely reached parity. You about right around 500 or so, I think, are on each network. I haven't looked in the last few days. And of those, a couple of hundred are on both networks. So what you've seen is not only has Fed gone from 0 to 500 in, just a number of months, during that same time, the number of financial institutions on the RTP network have doubled. So I think that's great. I think some of the newer institutions we're seeing come on are now coming on with a bit more of a plan to go quickly from receive only to starting to offer send products. In some cases, more than just one. I think that there's now this feeling, okay, this thing is rolling now. I need to go ahead and get on with it. And so the initial plan, and this is something I'm hearing from a number of banks and credit unions, is I'm going to get on instant payments. My plan is going to be on both FedNow and RTP. That's being made easier for me because kind of now everybody coming on the network, with a very few other exceptions, is coming on through a third-party gateway of some sort. A hub, a gateway, someone who is enabling it for it and operating it on a third party. That model seems to work. And so it makes it where if you join one, the connection's already there to the other. You just need to make sure that from a business, paperwork, all the legal stuff point of view, you've covered your bases. So it seems like that. And in fact, I'd say that the 200 overlap number will see catch up quickly as folks who are on one, joined one first, go on the other, because that seems to be the pattern. You get on one network, a few months later, you go on the other. But we're seeing more folks who are opening up the ability to send. And I think it's more, say community and mid-sized banks come on who tend to, punch above their weight when it comes to small business. Maybe that'll help open up that small business side some. So I think that's interesting too. I think that the competition is going to be good. I think one area where we'll see that happening is I think we will see the limits on the value of payments that you can send over the network continue to move up. It's right now $1 million on RTP, $500,000 on FedNow. I think we'll start seeing that continue to move up as both of the networks try to get a little bit of competitive advantage and get a little bit more flow through there. Maybe we'll see some interesting things in terms of pricing or some other ways that we'll see competition, features, functionality, probably a little bit of that. So I think overall it's going to be good. Now, I don't think that any of this means magically in a year or so we're going to be reaching ubiquity. It's, you still have to make the decision. You still have to go through everything. even though we'll see big numbers in terms of numbers of financial institutions that are on the networks, I think it's going to continue to move up fairly slowly. There's still roughly 10,000 financial institutions in the country. We're still sitting at maybe between the two of them, maybe 700 or so financial institutions. We're still sitting at roughly 70% reach. I think the number of institutions is going to continue to go up faster than the reach, just because the big ones are already connected to one or the other of the networks.
Right. Yeah, you've mentioned something very interesting that I have found very different with this launch versus the launches of the others, which were very long time ago. With the third party being able to make this very seamless for the financial institutions, especially the small and mid-sized financial institutions, where they've taken the decision making out with, should I go FedNow or should I go RTP? For instance, Jack Henry, the switch is very easy. They've made it very easy to say, well, we can send you one way or the other. And I'm not endorsing, I'm just using an example. But I think about how you don't have the same thing with the ACH network. It's very difficult for a financial institution to make the decision, do I go with EPN or do I go with Fed? Because it's difficult for them technology wise to they have to do two very different things in order to send those things when it's kind of technology wise inside their database, so to speak, to do those things. So very interesting to me that the way that this has been set up, and I guess we've learned as an industry how to make this much more seamless. And the file formats were also, both networks were very smart about making sure that they complemented each other.
Yeah. Well, the good thing we found out, and honestly, I don't think we knew this even when we were at the clearinghouse working with the Fed, kind of sharing ideas about the file formats and things like that, which we did. There are differences between the formats. I think what we found is the third parties have been able to bridge that in a way where we're not losing anything. So you submit to them, I want to make a payment, and it's just a matter of send it this way or send it that way. Receiving it's translated and posted correctly regardless of where it came from. So I think it wasn't obvious that would be something that the providers could bridge, but they seem to have been able to do it fairly readily.
Thanks for tuning into this episode of In the DeNovo. For more content like the video we shared today, check out our website at DeNovoTreasury.com and our YouTube channel at DeNovo Treasury. Thanks, and see you next time.